Right, so I'm on the crossovers for the Ditton 33s that Robin sent me. He has asked me to recap the crossovers and get them sounding as they should and delete the plugs, those rubbishy old things with the steel wire, get all that push fit stuff out the signal path. So I've done my plug delete, so positive and negative in, positive and negative to our woofer, positive and negative to our mid-range, positive and negative to our tweeter. So new L caps throughout, replacing the L caps we had, new resistors, retaining the inductors. We've tested all those, they're orientated nicely. Yeah, all good. So what we'll do now is strip down this one, take off the sticky pads as well. Like I keep saying, do one at a time, and that way you've always got one to reference when you're doing the other, in case you're not sure on what goes where. So yeah, I'll get this stripped down and we'll crack on with this one. So while I'm waiting for the iron to warm up, I've taken off the sticky pads, bit of isopropyl alcohol, clean off the old residue. Lovely jubbly. You do like a nice clean board. Oh yes. Right, good. So like a lot of Celestion crossovers, you'll often see different components making up the values. So where we've got a 90 here, at the moment we've got a 60 and a 30. Normally most of the others I've come across have got 3 30s there to make a 90, but I've seen different combinations. Yeah, also the first capacitor on the tweeter circuit, normally that's an 8. I've done 3 or 4 other pairs of these and that's an 8, but on this one we've got a 7. Oh no, sorry, on this one we've got an 8, so the other one we had a 7. So yeah, that's odd. Yeah, so we'll get all of these taken off, then drill out the holes and then get our new stuff in there. So I have to put a new hole here because I haven't got a 2.2 ohm resistor. I've got a 1.2 and a 1, so I'm going up and down. You'll see what I mean shortly. Right, I think that's all our holes for our caps. Okay. Yep, got those to solder back in as well. So what I'll do as well is make the holes for my new wiring. So this will be the positive to our woofer, and then we'll use one of the original holes here for the negative in. This trace here is the negative that picks up all of the negative in and negatives for all drivers. We'll pick up our tweeter here, that's the positive, and our mid-range coming back here. And we'll pick up the 2 grounds for the mid and the tweeter here. And our positive in we'll pick up here. Right. It's almost like I've done that before. Okay, let's get some new components in there. Right, let's do, if I can find it. Right, so we do our 72 first. So you use another pad on the bottom like we had originally, anti-vibration. Sometimes it depends on the board. Certainly when I'm making my new crossovers on acrylic boards, I tend to glue the components down. But with these older ones, not that you'd hope these caps get replaced again, but I just put them on pads. So 72 down first. I'll solder these as I go. That way you tend not to miss anything. So the legs from the components I bend over. I don't just bring them through, because often that way that's how your solder tends not to adhere properly. Got some new snippers, look at those, beautiful. Hey. Right, that's our 72 in. So I think we'll do these 3 30s next. So let's get the legs shaped and then we can do them all. Yeah, that'll work. Right, we'll put one long pad in there. As always, try and orientate the capacitors so you can read the values. I always, when I've tested the inductors, write on what they are as well. A lot of people just don't bother with the inductors, they just simply change the caps like for like because they can read the values and just ignore these. Not that they need replacing, but they should be tested. But I suppose that's involves test gear and some talent to use it. Right, that's the 3 of those in there, we can read them all. Right, so again, I've bent the legs back, I'm not just letting them through and sweating solder around them. That way I can pick some of it up, not just where it comes through the hole. Lovely. Right, so they're all in. So one thing I'll do before I forget is get these inductor legs back in where I lifted them up last time. Okay, and we'll bend those over a bit. Lovely. Right, good. So next we'll put the 30 in here. So on one of the crossovers this 30 had failed completely. really gone bad. Okay, it's our 30 in there. There we go. Right, next we've got a 16 to put in here. I don't have a 16, so I'm using 2 8s. So yeah, some components at the moment are quite tricky to get hold of for some reason. Most of my caps come from Falcon Acoustics, and they've been pretty good recently with the speed of delivery, which is very, very helpful. I tend to buy inductors from Impact Audio, so they're the Ditton inductors that I like using, but they've gotten really slow with their deliveries recently, to the extent I'm a bit behind with a few new crossovers, so I need to get on the blower to them later. Right, good. Right, so now we do the tweeter. So let's put our 8 in there. Right, then we have a 12 in here, which we don't have, so we're going to use 2 6s. Six and a 6. Twist those up. One leg down to go through. Twist those up. One leg down to go through. Like that. Right, good. We need to do our bit at the top where we twist them up. Just a little bit on them. Try not to soak too much heat into the actual caps themselves. Right, and our resistors. So I told you we drilled another hole there because I've got a 1 ohm and a 1.2 ohm to make our 2.2, because I cannot get at the moment a 2.2. So what we do is twist up one end like so, and then the other two will go straight down. So I'm going to need to use a bit of hot glue in a minute. Okay, like that. So we get those down. Right. Lovely. Right, so there we go. That is our crossover board recapped. Simple as that. Didn't take too long. So we'll have a bit of a clean up on the back afterwards, but before we do that we need to get our new wiring soldered in. So I tend to use red and black obviously for the input to the crossover, and I tend to use red and black for the woofer, but mid-range and tweeter I tend to use something different, normally white and green. So what we'll do is we'll do our tweeter and mid negatives first. So we drilled out the holes for these already. And get that through without any frayed strands, and then fold that back. Like that. What I'm doing these, it's probably just me because I work in a bit of a mess, but you end up with stuff all over the place. Okay, so go and fold that back. Liking these new cutters, very good. I've got some of these electrician shears as well, which are pretty good. Right, so that's our tweeter negative and mid-range negative. So then we'll do our mid-range positive, which picks up this trace here that would have gone to our big multi-plug. So through there, lay it down along the line of the track, so we can get a really good pickup. Okay. Okay, then we'll do the tweeter. Same thing again, fold that back. There we go. So then we can put those together later. Right, so what we'll do now as we're here, we'll do our positive in. Again, lay it along the track, like so. Okay. And then we'll do our positive for our woofer. And that's coming out here after the second inductor with the cap down to ground. Okay. Lay that down. Beautiful. Right, so that's our positive for our woofer. Then we need a negative in there and a negative there. That picks up this negative rail that we're using for our picking up our mid and tweeter as well. So this is going to be our negative in. Okay, and then we have our negative to our woofer. So placing these negatives using this negative rail kind of near to where the positives come out just makes the wiring nice and neat when you put them together. You sort of loom it all up. Don't want to go through there, does it? Look. Right, good. Right, so there we go. So we have positive and negative in to the crossover. That's these two. We have positive and negative to our woofer, which is these two. We have positive and negative to our mid. And positive and negative to our tweeter. Right. Right, okay, so there we go. So our positive comes in here, and we pick up our tweeter cap, then an inductor in between them down to ground, pick up our 12 microfarad cap out to our tweeter positive, carry on through a couple of resistors to a 30 microfarad cap on the mid circuit with an inductor down to ground, carry on through this inductor with a 16 microfarad cap down to ground, out to our mid-range, which comes off the track here, and then through to our woofer, through this inductor, 90 microfarad down to ground, carry on to this inductor, 72 microfarad down to ground. So fourth order arrangement on the woofer, third order on our tweeter, and second order on the high and low pass of the mid-range. So there we go. Right, time to stick them in the speakers. Right, so I'm just exercising this woofer a bit. So I'm running a 12 hertz tone through that. Obviously we're not going to hear that. It's not in an enclosure or anything. You can see the cone moving away. And if I pump us up a little bit, 20 hertz. Really can't see that at all. 40, I can sort of hear that now. Yeah. I got no rubbing or anything there. 63, 50, we can't hear. Can feel that, nothing. 25, 10, yeah, pretty good really. Yep, quite happy with that. So I think really probably loose connections and things were causing that sound, whilst it sounded like voice coil rub. Those sort of connections can sound like that too. I can't feel anything in this at all. That's as free as anything. Or maybe it was just some muck in there, but if it was, where's it ended up now? But yeah, quite happy with that. Yuck. Lovely. Not what you got, it's how you use it. You now. So these were push fit connected before. So now we're soldering direct, so I need to tin up the little tags. Yep. Okay. Right, take our tweeter out now. Always very careful with these, they are quite delicate. Okay. So get rid of our push fit connections. Right, so I want to ever so carefully tin these up. I don't want to soak too much heat into them. So this is our positive. Yep. Okay. And the same with our negative. Lovely jubbly. Right, let's carefully get that in there. So these have suffered from a bit of cone sag, and I don't know whether you can see, but you can see, well I can because I'm looking at it. The cone is a little bit more proud here than it is there, which suggests this was the bottom. So it's kind of just done that a little bit. So we'll put this high point at the top. Good. Right, so remembering which way round this needs to go. Top. So I'm going to clean these up as I put them in as well. Right, there we go. That's the other one assembled. Time to give them a test up. Right, okay, so these are all repaired. So, as you saw, we rebuilt the crossovers, we exercised that woofer, sorted that out, which seems to be okay. So I think that was more to do with connections and things like that. Found a lot of issues, got our mid-ranges working. So yeah, all the drivers have had a good clean up, all the rubbers have been treated. So they are really good. Our HF1000s, clean them up a bit as well. All soldered connections, new wiring. Yeah, all good. So cosmetically we've not done anything with them, but they're going to sound as good as they can. So yeah, pleased with them. I mean, from the front they look pretty tidy really. So yeah, sorted out the binding posts. I've replaced one of them, and now they match the same, all nice and tight. So yeah, right, let's give them a final test up. I'll throw the measurements up, and yeah, we're done. Right, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.